everyone, it's Angie the Craftnado, and welcome. If you're here for the first time, welcome to my channel. If you are back, thank you and welcome back. It's great to see you. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, actually a lot bit different. So I have started my channel almost a year ago, and when I started it was all crafts, but primarily I would say 85% of what I did was all diamond painting. Over the course of the past year, I've really ventured off into a lot of other crafts, and I'm spending a lot more time on my other crafts than I am on diamond painting. I'd say my time is pretty equally split right now between diamond painting, crochet, and cross stitch. I still do a large variety of other crafts, but those are my three main ones. So I had noticed that of late, a lot of my diamond painting, my weekly diamond painting whip and chat was kind of being half consumed by yarn talk. And I know not everybody who watches for the diamond painting content is really into that yarn talk. So I decided that from now on going forward, I'm going to have a new feature on the channel, and that is going to be on Tuesdays. I am going to do a video where I do yarn talk and cross stitch talk. So this will be something you can look forward to if you're into that sort of thing. Hopefully every Tuesday, unless I don't have, I mean, chances are I'll always have something to show, but it should be every Tuesday. That's my plan. For right now, that's my plan. So just to get things rolling and introduce you to what the kind of things that you're going to see, I will be sharing haul with you when I have it. And I'll also be sharing my works in progress and my finished projects. Tell you a little bit about the the yarn content and the patterns and whatnot. And then when I have new acquisitions, I'll show you that as well. So let's get started. I think we're going to start with the yarny stuff because that's just the mood I'm in right now. I've actually been cross stitching for about the past 8 hours straight, and my eyes are like going buggy from cross stitching, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was let's start with new acquisitions. I don't have any. Why? Because my huge ice yarn haul has been holed up in Memphis on a delay for the past 2 days. I finally got a hold of FedEx, and I did pay quite a bit in expedited shipping. If you've ordered from Ice Yarns, you know how much shipping can cost, and it was a pretty sizable order. So I am waiting to hear back from FedEx. They don't know what the reason is for the delay. It did pass through customs and everything was fine. So I'm not sure why, they're not sure why it's taking so long. So I've been in contact with FedEx and we'll get that resolved. The other thing that's on its way and should be here soon is I'm expecting my first Knitcrate membership box. So I did subscribe to Knitcrate, and I'm excited to see what I'm going to get in my Knitcrate membership box for this month, for January. I also did order 2 mystery boxes from Knitcrate. So they were having a special. They were buy one, get one free. I don't know if that's going on any longer, but it was a good deal, and I thought, what the heck? Let's check it out. I've been getting into some, fancier yarns, I guess you could say, lately. Not just what you can pick up at your local Joann's or Michael's. So I'm excited to see what I'm going to get in those mystery boxes. Those should be here later on this week as well. I've also got an order from Joann's coming that should be here by the end of the week for some dresses that I'm going to make for my granddaughters, some summer dresses, crochet dresses. So hopefully I'll be able to show you that next week and show you progress that I've made on those dresses in next week's video. But for today, let's talk about what I've got on the hook. I wanted to be able to show you a finish. I actually wanted to be able to be wearing my latest finish. And it got to be about 1 o'clock in the morning last night when I finished the first sleeve of the end of my sweater, and I realized I wasn't going to make it. And it's funny because I actually put this sweater on. I was going to wear it one sleeved just to show you guys what it was going to look like because it's so beautiful. But I figured that looked a little bit too ridiculous. So this is what I've got that I'm actively working on, and it's almost finished. I'd say I just have to do one more sleeve. I'm so close to being finished. But this is a really, really easy pattern. I want to mention also that any of the patterns that I use, I do have a playlist on my playlist tab of my channel that has all of the videos that I've used for patterns. So primarily, and if I can think of them while I'm going through, I'll tell you who the pattern is from. Some of them are written patterns that I've gotten for free off the internet, and I'll try to remember that. Like this sweater is a Lion brand, Lion website pattern for Woolies Thick and Quick yarn. And it's a cardigan. I finished this, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. So I love this sweater. Love, love, love it. The wool content doesn't bother me at all. It's not, you know, the softest wool, but it's not scratchy at all. It's I can wear it with my bare arms and it's not itchy or anything. So I really love the Woolies Thick and Quick. Very nice yarn. So this sweater I made using loops and threads. What is it called? I've got it here. I thought I had it here. Maybe I didn't bring it over here. I'm gonna grab it. Hold on one second. I'm so sorry. Okay, sorry about that. I made this using Loops and Threads Barcelona Roving yarn, and I got it from Michael's. It is a 6-weight super bulky 9mm hook. It's 93% acrylic, 7% polyester, and it is a roving yarn. And it's definitely a bulky, super bulky 6-weight. But when you pull it taut, it becomes, you know, quite a bit thinner. But it's very fuzzy, you know, when it's this. So this was a sweater that really kind of practiced my patience, because not only was the roving yarn a little bit difficult to work with in this stitch, but it was also, I was splitting it a lot, obviously. So I had to be really, really careful. And but you also have to pay particular attention to your tension if you're working with a yarn like this, because if you're not consistent with your tension, you're going to end up having some stitches that are tight, 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 and some stitches that are really loose. So you got to be really consistent with your tension on this. The thing that I like about this sweater pattern was the way the sleeves were worked. It was actually not a reduction in this. Well, you do one reduction in the sleeve. I said do. The sleeves are worked in the round, and they're attached to the hole that you leave on the sides of the seams. And they're worked in the round, and you actually reduce the sleeve diameter not by reducing your stitches, but by lowering your hook size. So it started off with a 9mm hook, which is what you use for the rest of the sweater up here. Then you go to a 6.5mm hook, and then a 5.5mm hook for the bottom. And I was worried that it was still, I was going to go even smaller for the last 5 rows and even go to a 5mm hook, but I didn't have to. It ended up that opening is perfect wrist size. I don't think I'd want it any tighter. So I was really apprehensive about that whole idea of not reducing for sleeves and instead lowering your hook size, but it worked. I was happily surprised. It definitely worked. This I've only got 2.5 skeins in on this. There are 223 yards in this skein, and I'm only 2.5 skeins in. It'll take me 3 skeins to do this entire sweater, and it's a size large extra large. Large extra large. And this was a pattern from Crystal at Bag-A-Day Crochet, and I believe it is in my playlist. I believe it's called Easy Crochet Cowl Neck or something like that. But it was very easy to do, a very beautiful stitch pattern, and I really like it. And this is going to become my favorite sweater. Can't wait to get this finished. I just know it's going to be my favorite sweater. It's so nice and soft, and I really, really like the color. I think the color is good on me. What do you think? Yes. So that is my first project I've been working on. If you are not new to my channel, you would know that last week I was working on squares. I went crazy with granny squares, all different kinds of squares, fancy squares, modernish squares, all crazy, all kinds of squares. So I've moved away from that. This week, I go on tangents and I'm back to sweaters. But I have been working on a few more squares. Oh, look, I have a stain on my shirt. How embarrassing. I'm so sorry. I'm going to cover that up with my sweater. How embarrassing. Anyway, so I am also working on these squares that are going to make up a blanket. No two square is going to be the same color. And I'm just using size 4 or 4 medium worsted weight yarn. And these are the squares. So I've done several of them, and it's called a granny pop-up. And I think I showed you guys this in my last week's diamond painting whip-in chat. But I've gotten quite a few done. So this is actually more of a gray than it's showing up as kind of a mocha on camera, but it's more of a gray. So I'm going to tie it all together with just white, but you can see how that is going to work up. And you're just going to have all of these random colors. And here, I'll just keep going. But I've got all of these colors so far done. And yeah, it's going to look great. I've got enough, and this is one that you could definitely use scrap yarn for, because like I said, no two squares are going to be the same color. This is another Bag-O-Day crochet pattern, and it's called the Granny Pop-Up. Then I've also been working on another blanket I just started. I went to Michael's, and they were having a clearance. I went to Michael's last week, and they were having a clearance. And I picked up enough cakes of this Karen Crystal Cakes yarn to do 2 blankets. Now I got 2 different colorways. I showed you guys last week, so I'm not going to show you the other colorway or the other 2 colorways. But this is going to be the first blanket, those 2. And let me show you how the squares are working up for that. They're really looking good. And for this pattern, I am just using the Yarn Inspirations pattern. It's called the Mitered Square. And what you're going to do is at the end of this, when you put these all together, you put them together in a certain way that these stripes are going to line up. So in the middle, you're going to have this solid, and then you're going to have these stripes that are all going to line up in a square, and then on the outside you're going to rotate them so that they're geometrically different. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool when it's finished. So I've got it in these 2 colors, and then I've also got it in a brown and tan, 2 different. Actually, it's like a silvery brown and browny tan that'll go on the outside. So I'm working on those 2, and I did pick up another one of these hooks. I bought one of these likey hooks at the yarn store when I went to the yarn store in Charlotte with, or Charlotte, I say Charlotte, it's Charlotte, with Mindy or last month was that? I think it was last month. They're Driftwood Hooks, and I love them. They just they glide through your yarn so nicely. I was using a standard aluminum hook with this yarn, and with this particular yarn, I don't know if it's because of the metallic that's in it or what, but it was really sticky. It was my hook was really sticking. And so I had gotten this hook at that yarn store in a 6.5 millimeter, and this called for a 5 millimeter. This yarn called for a 5 millimeter hook. So I went ahead and ordered another one of these hooks on Amazon. They're like $10 in a 5 millimeter, and it has made a world of difference. The one thing that I will say about these hooks that I'm still getting used to is if you're used to the aluminum hooks, which I am, I prefer the aluminum hooks. I don't care for the ergonomic hooks because my yarn tends to slide up past where the ergonomic handle is. And just for the way I grip my hook, it just doesn't, I I hold it like this. And so the ergonomic hooks just don't work well for me. But with an aluminum hook, you know, you've got that indentation where your thumb goes, which you get used to. And so you always know what way you need to hold your hook. You know what I mean? You always know the angle that the hook part needs to be at. Well, with these, you don't have that. This is just perfectly cylindrical. So it is a little bit of a learning curve for me anyway on using these hooks, but I really like them. I love to get the whole set, but I don't have to, because what I would like to show you, which is a new acquisition, was my birthday gift. My birthday gift from my daughter Maddie, who is an absolute sweetheart. She bought me this set of Rosewood Hooks. And they come, I think there are, I'm going to count them for you and just show you what they look like. And they come in this beautiful velvet box with satin, and they have a little satin carry satchel in there. They're really a nice set. And she got these on Amazon, but they come with, you even get like really huge sizes, like huge sizes. I'll never use that biggest one, I don't think, but it's still nice that you get them. But they're very beautifully crafted with this not etching, but fancy woodwork on the end. So you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13? That seems like an odd number to have. Oh, I think I've got one out that I was using. So I think there are 14 total, 14 different sizes. And they work really nice. They're just like the Likey hooks, very smooth going through your yarn. So if you have a problem with stickiness, I'd say try a hardwood hook. I really am enjoying these. Now, the one drawback to these, and the reason why I haven't switched to using them exclusively yet, is they are not marked with the size. So I am going to come up with something, and I haven't quite decided what yet, because I don't know that I want to permanently destroy them by like painting or etching or something like that. So I'm trying to come up with a way that I can keep I'm thinking of just putting a label on, like sticking a label to the end, wrapping a label around the end with the hook size. But I don't know how annoying that'll get, and I don't know how that's gonna wear. You know what I mean? How well it's gonna stay on there. So I'm still working on that. But those are really nice hooks, and those for that set was, I think it was like $59.99 on Amazon, which I didn't think was a bad deal for all the hooks that you get plus this nice box. So thank you, Maddie, for my lovely, lovely birthday gift. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, now moving on into more whips. So we'll go on into more crochet whips. I've got a blanket that I'm working on. Well, other than the one I just showed you with the squares, the mitered squares, and well, other than the two I just showed you actually. I've also been working on another blanket for Jeff for his birthday, and I am getting under the gun on this one. I really need to get my butt moving on it. It is a rather simple pattern. It is I can't even really call it a granny square. It's a granny rectangle. And it is, oops, I've got yarn attached here and it's pulling away. But you start with a rectangle. So it's just a continuous granny square, and starting with a rectangle though, so that you don't end up with a square blanket, because square blankets are a little bit, I don't want to say useless, but they're kind of awkward, I think. And that's just my opinion. If you love square blankets, you love square blankets. But in my opinion, for utilitarian purposes, they're just a little bit awkward. So I'd rather have a rectangular blanket. And this I'm making for Jeff for his birthday. His birthday is coming up February 17th. So I really need to get my butt moving on this, because I want this to be the size of a king size bed. And I'd say right now it is about 5 feet by 4 feet. So I need to get working on it. But what I'm using for this is Bernat blanket. and I'm using 5 different colors, and it's a 2-row repeat on this. And the repeat that you do is you do 1 tall row, 1 skinny row. So I chose 5 colors of yarn so that I'm alternating. One color will be a skinny row one time, and then the next time I use that color, it'll be a thick row, if that makes any sense. So the colors that I'm using for this are, and Bernat Blanket is a super bulky 6-weight yarn, 100% polyester, 220 yards per skein, which, so you get a good amount with it. It's a little bit, I don't think it's, if you can get it on sale, I don't think it's really, for the amount of yardage that you get per skein, I don't really find it that pricey. So I'm using the colors dark gray, frosted blue, what color? Smoky green, pale gray, which is more of a caramely color, light caramely color, and vintage white. So those are my 5 colors that I'm using for that. Now, if you are new to crochet, I would not, my friend Jody and I were talking, and she's been trying to learn how to crochet, and she was having the darndest time doing it, and she's, you know, I can't get my tension right, it looks like crap, you know, she's like, I just don't think it's for me, I don't think I can get it. And I just knew that she could do it. I knew she could do it. And so the longer we got to talking about it, and this is over the course of a couple of weeks, it finally came out that she was using this Bernat Blanket yarn. If you're a new crocheter, this is not the yarn you want to start out with. If you've ever crocheted with this, it's a nightmare to crochet with. It's very, very sticky. So it sticks to itself when you're working with it. It's not the easiest yarn to work with. So if you're a beginner and just starting out, this isn't something you want to necessarily get into. It makes a beautiful product, and it's very, very soft, and I mean, I understand the allure of it, but it's not for, you know, I would say it's not for somebody new. So I'm working on that blanket. And then I'm also still working on a scarf. And I don't have very much done in this scarf. But I am still, I mean, it's a whip. I'm working on it slowly but surely. This is using Lion Brand Landscapes yarn. And this is a geometric cable, I guess you would call it. It's worked like a cable, but you're just going, you know, at an angle with it. And I really love the way it's looking. It's looking really, really good. Now this pattern, there's a lot of counting involved because you got to make sure that you're moving your post stitches with every row so that you can stay in that diagonal. That's what it's called, diagonal cable, I think. So you got to make sure that you're counting correctly so your diagonal's moving at the right increment every row. So it's a little difficult, but I'm using Lion Brand Landscapes yarn for this. It in the color Sand Dune, which I think is just a beautiful, beautiful color. I love those colors together. And if you've never used Lion Brand Landscapes yarn, you either love it or you hate it. It is comparable, I'd say, to Red Heart Unforgettable. But I prefer the Lion Brand Landscapes. I think the Lion Brand Landscapes is, they're both rated a 4 medium weight yarn, but in my opinion, the Lion Brand Landscapes is a little bit thicker and easier to work with. And I think has a less lacy, more meaty end result than the Red Heart Unforgettable. The Red Heart Unforgettable is great if you want a lacy type scarf or shawl. To me, this is better if you want something with a little meat to it, you know, which I did. And it's a little bit, I don't know, squishier, if that makes any sense. But it is 100% acrylic and size, like I said, size 4, and it comes 147 yards per skein. It is relatively expensive. I believe that retail on this is $7.99 a skein, which if you're want to do something, you know, of any volume, that's going to cost you. That's going to be quite a little bit of money by the time you add it all up. But for making a scarf, it should, you know, it won't be that bad. And I had a coupon and it was on sale and, you know, all those happy things that I never pay full price. I don't think anybody ever pays full price. All right, moving on. Now my whips that are sweaters. I showed you the first one. I wanted to call it a finish today. I didn't want it to be a whip, but it's still a whip. I got that one darn sleeve to go. I'm working on this sweater. This is a cable sweater. It's going to be a cardigan, and that's what I've got done so far on this, and I love it. Love the stitch pattern. I think that stitch pattern is absolutely beautiful. Now, I don't know, I'm 5'5", and I weigh about 160 pounds, so I consider myself a size extra large. I used the sizes for extra large for this pattern, but I don't know. It's going to be, I might have wanted to do a 2X now that I'm looking at the panel. I might have wanted to go a little bit wider. I prefer an oversized, and this isn't going to be oversized at all. So this might be something that becomes a gift for someone else, which is a shame because I really love it. Really, it's very pretty. And for this, I'm just using Big Twist Value yarn. It's very soft, 100% acrylic. It is a size 4 medium weight yarn, and it has 380 yards per skein. Now, I nabbed this yarn at Joann's. This is Joann's brand of yarn, this Big Twist. And I picked this up. You're not going to believe this. I got this after Christmas on sale. I ended up paying $1.50 a skein for this yarn. Yeah. And it comes in like so many colors, it's unbelievable. So if you can pick this up on a good sale, it is an excellent yarn. I really enjoy it. It's, for a value yarn, it can't be beat. It's really nice. So I'm working on that one, and as you know, or maybe you don't know, I have to keep my, I'm a beginner, I have to keep my hooks with my projects because I never remember what size hook I'm using with which project. So I have to keep my hooks with my projects. Yep, that's just how disorganized I am. I've got a lot going, you guys. Got a lot going. The next sweater that I'm working on is something that is going to have kind of, it's going to be kind of like a cable sweater, but it's kind of faux cables in a way. I showed you guys this one in a couple weeks ago in a whip and chat, and I just want to show you my progress on it, or if you're new and haven't been here before. This is also using the Big Twist Value yarn in the color taupe. Love this color. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous color. But what you're going to do, it's a very, very simple stitch pattern. And what you're going to do is after you've stitched this all up and you've got all these loops hanging here, you're not going to wear the sweater with all the, although, I don't know, that might be kind of cool. But you take them and you weave them. Am I doing that the wrong way? I am. You weave them through one another. I'm doing it the wrong way. No, I'm not. And as you weave them through one another, sorry, I had to do that real quick. It gives the illusion of a cable. Now, I think I did that one wrong. Yeah, I think I did that first one wrong, so that's why that's sitting there so funny. But it's going to look like a cable coming up your sweater. So all of those lines are going to look like cables coming up the sweater. And I think it looks really cool. I really like it. So just ignore that first one I screwed up. You get the gist of what I'm saying. Or maybe you don't. But here, let's see. Let's try it again. What the heck? So that one goes in that one. Yeah, there we go. And that one goes in that one. I don't know why I can never remember this. I do the same thing when I'm doing hand knit blankets. I always, for my final row, I always forget which end goes in which. All right, there, that's better. Now you can really see. So that's what it's going to look like going up the sweater. Very cool. Love it. Love the color. Now this one is also going to be a cardigan, and this is the back panel. So this is definitely going to be an extra large, definitely going to be, you know, wide enough for an extra large sweater. So I feel like maybe that other one was just supposed to be more of a slimline pattern. And I do prefer a bulky or a oversized sweater. So it might go to my daughter or, you know, someone smaller when I'm finished with it. The next sweater that I'm working on is going to also be a cardigan, oversized cardigan. And this is the back panel. You guys probably are like, you don't have much done. Yeah, but look at all the projects I've got going. I love to work on a different project all the time. So this is the stitch pattern for this. And it might look familiar because this is the same stitch pattern as what I did for that pink sweater. But for this one, I'm using Premier Puzzle yarn. I absolutely love Premier Puzzle yarn. If you've never worked with it, you're missing out. It is a bulky size 5. It comes in so many different colors. And they just released a whole bunch of new colors, I've heard. 328 yards per skein, 100% acrylic. It's a very, very soft acrylic. It's really nice. I have this in, I think, 4 different colors. I have making mosaic granny square blankets with it, and I just happen to have a lot of this color, so I thought I would throw together a sweater with this color. And these are my colors. Yeah, these are my colors. So I'm really liking this, and I think I'm gonna love it when it's done. It's not gonna be as bulky as that pink sweater. It's not gonna be as bulky as this sweater, but I think that it will be nice for a lighter sweater for, you know, fall and spring. Or when you don't need something so heavy and bulky, when you don't need wool. And I lost a hook from a project, and that's not a good thing. Oh, I know where that one came from. Okay, good. Whew. That could have been bad, because I don't remember what project I'm using what hook for. All right, my next sweater that I'm working on is in 2 pieces, because I got bored working on the body of it, and so I started working on a sleeve. For this one, I am using Buttercream Luxe Craft Angel Hair yarn. It's a bulky 5, and the color is Coral Multi. Now, I think that this looks like, once it's worked, it's very pretty in the skein. It's only, let's see, it's only 110 yards per skein. It's 51% acrylic, 27% polyamide, and 22% wool. So you do have a good wool content in this sweater. So it's going to be a nice warm sweater. And did I say it's a bulky 5? Yeah, I did. But I think when it's working up, at least in the stitch pattern that I'm doing, and this is a sleeve, that's why it's a funny shape. In the stitch pattern that I'm doing, it looks like pink camo to me. I don't know. I just think that's what it looks like, pink camo. And it is a very, very simple stitch pattern, and to be quite honest with you, I'm bored with it. I really want to get this sweater done because it's for a friend. It is worked in 1 big panel. It is a cardigan, worked in 1 big panel with the armhole, you know, that you skip. So I don't have all that much of it done. 1 front panel, that's it, and part of the back panel and part of a sleeve. But like I said, it's a really boring stitch pattern, so I'm having a hard time staying focused on it. But I need to work on it because I'd like to get this finished for her. The reason I wanted to get this all out and show you guys everything that I'm working on is because I am going on a crafting retreat. I am headed to Texas next week. I was lucky enough to get in at the last minute in a crafting retreat that's taking place in Hillsboro, Texas. And I'm not checking luggage. I'm just going to take a carry-on. but I am an ADD crafter. I cannot stay concentrated on crafting the same thing for any length of time. So I need to take multiple crafts. But with not taking a checked bag, it really limits me as far as what I can take for projects to craft on while I'm there. So what I'm going to do is a friend that I'm staying with before the retreat, I'm flying into Houston and she's picking me up in the airport and I'm going to spend the night at her house. Thank you so much, Cindy, for being such a gracious host. I really appreciate it. Wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for you. Anywho, I've decided, her husband actually came up with the idea and it was a brilliant plan. I'm going to mail a box of my crafting supplies to her house and then it'll be waiting for me there at her house, and when we go to the retreat, then we can just pack it in the car, take it with us. Then before I leave to come home, I can just take it back to the post office, ship it back to my house. Trust me, it's going to be less expensive than checking a bag at the airport, because the size of what I need to take, I'm taking diamond painting. I want to take diamond paintings, which are large and a little bit cumbersome to travel with. So, yeah, it's going to be cheaper to pay for a checked bag. It's going to be cheaper for me to ship a box back and forth to her house. But that's why I needed to get this video out too and show you all my works in progress, because I need to get this stuff packed up in the stuff I want to take, get it packed up in boxes so that I can get it shipped off to her house so it's there waiting for me when I get there next week. So three more crochet works in progress. All 3 sweaters. So this is another sweater that I made using the, this one I made using Karen Tea Cakes. The color of this one was Underbrush. Now, this is the first sweater that I made, and I did not control the color in it, and the colors turned out a little bit wonky. Now, my daughter loves this look, so she has already claimed this sweater. But the only thing I have left to do on it is I need to do the band that's going to go around the side and the neck, and then I need to finish off the sleeves. Now, I prefer my sleeves like unfinished like this, but I would never make a sweater to give away that had unfinished sleeves. So, and she does have a little bit longer arms, so I'm going to make some cuffs on the sleeves as well. And then this sweater will be finished. And she loved it. And then my other daughter came over and she loved it too. And I had enough of this yarn because I had picked it up on clearance at Michael's for $5 a cake, which is an excellent deal because these cakes, I have another one right here because I got another sweater in the mix using this in a different color. These cakes retail for $9.99. They were on clearance for $4.99. And they have, they're a size 6, super bulky, 80% acrylic, 20% wool, and they have 204 yards per cake. So you can get a decent, you can really, and they had, like I said, they were on clearance for $5 a cake. I thought that was an excellent deal. So I picked up as many as I could. And so I had enough of this underbrush to do another sweater. So I did for my other daughter. And I controlled the color a little bit better on this one. So they line up a little bit. No, this is the one I didn't. No, wait a second. I think I made the sleeves line up is what I did. Nope, I think maybe the one I just showed you was the one that lines up. And this one, yeah, the one I just showed you is the one that lines up. This one doesn't. Anywho, they liked that look. I don't know that I care for that look. So, yeah, they claimed these sweaters. But I've, again, got to just do the ribbing around the neck and the front opening and the ribbing on the sleeves. And then these sweaters are done. Can you see a trend forming here? There is definitely a trend forming where I get stuff almost finished and then don't quite make it to the finish line. I squirrel and I move on to the next thing. I can't help it. It's just my personality. And it's my craft stuff and I'll do what I want. So this is the final sweater that I'm making. Not my final work in progress, but my final sweater. And I just barely have a start of it. I just wanted to try out this stitch pattern with this yarn. And I do like it. I like it a lot. This is actually a sweater that I am going to be doing the pattern for myself as I go, kind of on the fly. So this is a stitch pattern that you're just doing 3 double crochets together, and repeating that along, and it's going to turn out to look like these triangles. And I thought that this would be a cool sweater, a little bit more dense of a stitch than this sweater that I have on here. So it'd be kind of a warmer, woolly, bullier sweater. Like I said, these are not the same 2 yarns. This one and the striped sweater I just showed you are the same yarns. The Karen tea cakes, again, clearance, $5 a cake. This one is going to be in the color Gull. So you can see that you've got a really nice blue, couple colors of gray, and then a green. And it's going to be really pretty. I really like this color. Very pretty. Very pretty. So I managed to snag enough skeins of these, or cakes of these, to do a sweater. But like I said, the pattern that I saw with this stitch was a pattern for a blanket. And I decided I want to make it into a sweater. So I'm going to kind of just be, and this is the first time I'm ever going to have done this, so wish me luck. I'm going to kind of be stealing a little bit of ideas that I've learned along the way in terms of making sweaters, and I'm going to turn this into a cardigan. So that's what I've got so far. But this is low priority, so that's why I just wanted to do up a couple rows of the stitch, see if the stitch was going to work for me, if I liked it, and I do. So that's a future project. That's not anything that I'm in too big of a rush to get finished. All right, my final, this is taking forever, you guys. I'm sorry, we're not even through with yarn yet. We haven't even gotten to cross stitch stuff yet. I might have to do 2 different, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. We're going to do it all in one today. We'll see how it goes going forward. Final crochet work in progress is I am making this scarf, and I want to get this finished. Now this is a very narrow scarf, but I don't care, because it's not about, for me with this scarf, it is not going to be about the, it's going to be a very long scarf, because I like to wear my scarf, I like to fold my scarves like this and then stick it the end through. Well, you know what I mean, so that it's, I can't do it because it's not long enough. But I like to make it double. So I don't need it to be super thick because it's going to be doubled up, and I didn't want it to be too bulky. So I purposely made it this narrow. And this is a very simple stitch pattern, really easy to do. Where did I get this stitch pattern? I don't even know. I don't even remember, but it's very simple and easy. The yarn that I'm using for this is a very special yarn. It is a Luscious Llama from Designer's Choice. It is 100% pure luxurious baby llama. It's hand dyed, and in the color mocha. And they're calling it a bulky 5, which I would agree with. I'd say it's a heavy 4, light 5. And it is, there are 109 yards in this hank. So 2 of them is going to be plenty for this scarf width and pattern that I'm using, because it's, kind of a holy pattern. But this I want to get finished like today. This is high on my priority list to finish. And this llama, oh my gosh, if you ever have a chance to work with anything like this was the first time I'd ever worked with llama or alpaca. And It is very, very smooth. It's almost like working with human hair. It's which is a little, at first, I'm not gonna lie, at first it was a little bit creepy working with it, just the way it but it's so soft. Some of the softest, I mean, that's definitely something you want up against your neck and up against your face. It's just perfect, perfect, perfect for a scarf. So that's my last crochet project, and like I said, this one will be done. This will be done today. I can get this done in no time. I kind of kept it in this little bag because I thought it'd be a nice little take-along project, but I'm at the point right now where I just want to get finished with it. So I'm just going to finish it up this afternoon. Okay, so that's all my yarn content. Like I mentioned, you know, if you're not into cross stitch and you want to click off now, you're not going to miss anything else yarn-wise. So I will be back next week to show you. I have, like I said, that big ice yarn order that I placed. I'll have my Knitcrate, both my monthly subscription and my 2 mystery boxes that I ordered from Knitcrate. I will have to show you next week. And, you know, who knows what else? Who knows what else I'll have to show you by next week? That's a whole week away. There's a lot that can happen with me in a week. All right, so let's move on to cross stitch. So I want to show you my works in progress of the cross stitch projects that I have going at the moment. And then we'll talk about future plans, and then I've got a little bit of haul to show you. So my first project that I'm working on is one that I just got started with. I'm barely anywhere into it. It is called Nevermore by Lila's Studio. And it is a quote from The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. It's like the first line and last line of that poem. And I absolutely love this. I love this style of cross stitch. I love Lila's Studio. She's the designer, is Lila's Studio. It is this is kind of funny. I started this twice. So this is where I'm at with it. I'm not, like I said, I've barely gotten a start with it. I'm using the called for fabric and the called for floss, which was a mixture of Gentle Art Samplers and Weeks Dye Works. And there's, what is this? TGSNC. TGSNC. What is that? Thread gatherer thread also, which are all hand dyed. They're all hand dyed flosses. And so I am using all the called for floss. Now, like I said, I started this twice, so I didn't get very far the first time because the called for fabric for this is a feldspar linen by Picture This Plus, and they called for it in a 40 count. I ordered it in a 40 count. I have another project that I'm working on in a 40 count. Well, it's not really, it's a winter prime project, so it's put away. I'm not going to show it to you today because I'm not actively working on it. But I can't do 40 count, not with any amount of enjoyability. And I want to enjoy this project. The other project that I'm working on that I am doing in 40 count, it's killing me to do it, but the end result is going to be so fantastic that I'm going to push through, but it's torturous. It's not fun for me. I can barely see it. It's just 40 count is just way too small. So I had ordered the 40 count linen, started this, and I was not enjoying it, and I really want to enjoy the process on this. So I thought, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to put myself through this. So I went ahead and ordered a fat quarter in a 36 count. And I just got that in yesterday. So this is the progress I've made since yesterday. I don't think I'm doing too bad for just one day's worth of progress, especially considering that I am diamond painting and crocheting as well. So yeah, not too bad. But these are all hand-dyed flosses. These are the flosses, like I said, Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts Needleworks, and the Thread Gatherer Silken Colors threads. Very pretty hand-dyed flosses. Now I prefer, I love to work with silk. Like Gloriana, I love to work with silks. But, so it's not like working with silk, but like my next project, still a nice floss. And yes, that is what I've got going on for, and I just thought that this project bag was appropriate for this project. I don't know, kind of goes with it. Well, that's what I think. It's my Halloween project bag, but I rehoused my Halloween project, which is my 40 count project. Okay, my next project, which also has a project bag that I absolutely love. I got this in my blessing box from the last retreat that I went to in Hamilton, Missouri last October. This is a sampler from Sampler's Cove. It's the Flourish series called Enya. And if you are not new to my channel, you will have seen me working on this or showing this at least in the past. This is another one that I started twice. I got quite a bit. Actually, I started this one 3 times. Yeah. So the first one, I started it. I didn't like, I don't remember why I cut my fabric too small the first time. Yeah, that's what it was. I calculated my fabric wrong, cut my fabric too small. Then I started it again on this even weave. I think it's Lugana, and I didn't like the fabric. It was too bulky for the pattern, I felt. So then I went ahead and ended up getting this fabric, which is a linen. It's a 36 count. I can't tell you what linen it is because I didn't put the tag in there. I apologize. But it's just a 36 count. I think it's called, I think it might be the called for linen. Let me just look at the, dun, dun, dun. Yes, this is 36 count Magnolia linen, which is, I don't know if that's a picture this plus or not, but that's where I'm at so far with this. And so I'm doing this on 36 count, and I'm doing this 1 thread over 2 stitches. And I think that for this pattern, that's looking beautiful. I don't think you want this to be too bulky. I'm also using the called for thread, which is Gloriana Silks, hand dyed. Silks in the colors like antique gold and red clay. I love the red clay. Look at all of the color variations in that. It goes from burgundy to gold to brown. It's just so many different color variations. I mean, the vintage gold is pretty too, or antique gold is pretty too, but there's not as many, the color variations are more subtle. But I love this. This is going to be a gift for my mother-in-law. I wanted to get it done before last Christmas. Yeah, that didn't happen. That didn't even come close to happening. Like I said, I started it 3 times. But yeah, so once I'm doing 1 stitch or 1 strand over 2 with this one, with now 36 count fabric can be weird to work with because 36 count is kind of the tipping point where you can either use 1 strand of floss, or if you want, you can use 2 strands of floss. So when I started this one, we're going back to the Raven one for just a second. I started it on 40 count, and of course I only used 1 strand of floss. Well, when I got my 36 count fabric, I decided that I wanted it to be a little bit more bold and a little bit bulkier. So I decided to go with 2 strands of floss for this because I want this to stand out and be bold. These are both projects are on 36 count fabric. One of them I've chosen to use 2 strands of floss. One of them I chose to use 1 strand of floss. So there's no hard and fast rules. I mean, there's recommendations, but do what you like. It's your project. Do whatever you want. That's my philosophy. I don't like people who tell you there's a right way and a wrong way. Do what you like. All right, now you guys are going to laugh. My third, no, that's not, well, it is kind of true. It's not my last one. It's my third. Oh, hold on, I got to reach. I tend to get, if you're new here, you may not know, I get kits to show on my channel from stamped cross stitch companies. And I love a good stamped cross stitch. There's nothing wrong with them. You end up with the same result. They are so relaxing and easy to work on. They, there's not a lot of thinking involved in it. It comes all pre-kitted up. You get everything you need. The end result is beautiful. So, I got one from a company to show on my channel, and I chose it because Maddie is going to love it, and I started it. And I don't have much of a start on it because I just started it last night. So I only have this much done. I mean, not much at all. And you cannot tell what it is by looking at it. And that's fine. You usually can't. But I just want to show you guys what it's going to be. Is that not the coolest thing? Is that not the coolest thing? I love it. Maddie loves it. It is going to be phenomenal when it's finished. So this one is an 11 count kit. It's on 11 count Ada, and it is a stamped kit. It is 40 by 50 centimeters. And yeah, it's going to be fantastical. And then, of course, you get all the floss that you need is all pre-sorted on a color card. It has, this particular one has 23 colors. And it's going well. It's, like I said, I'm not that far into it, but it's going well so far. Okay. So that's my stamped kit I'm working on. I've also, this one is a work in progress, but I'm probably not going to be working on it very much anytime soon because it is a Christmas. This is my one and only Mirabilia. So this is the Christmas Elf Fairy from Mirabilia, and it's just so pretty. Using the called for floss and fabric. And it does have, well, excuse me, Boduke. Did you guys hear that? Boduke's letting me know he's here. So this is on 32 count linen from Zweigart in natural. And this is where I'm at with that. So I've got just the bottom part of her dress done. Not much. I got a little bit done. But it has beads, and it has Krennic, and it has this whisper thread, which I've never used. So, and this is also will be the first time I've ever worked with beads, and it's my only Mirabilia. First time I've ever worked with beads. First time I've ever worked with Krennic. So this one is a lot of firsts for me. But it's working up really nicely. I like working on 32 count. I think that if I had a sweet spot, it would be 32 count. So that is my other whips. Then I've got one last cross stitch whip. Then I got some haul to show you with cross stitch stuff, and then we'll be done. Finally, right? You guys are probably sick of listening to me. I'm sick of listening to myself. So my final whip is this Owl Forest embroidery, the Mushroom King? Is that what he's called? No, Father Mushroom. I always say that wrong. Mushroom King, Father Mushroom. Love this one. This is what I'm going to take to the retreat with me because it's nice and small. This is another one that I started twice. I started it on, now Owl Forest embroidery kits come with everything you need to do to the kit, which I love that about them. I started this on the provided fabric. I didn't like it. I didn't like how his skin color was just hidden in the fabric. I just didn't like it. So I went ahead and ordered some fabric from, I don't remember where I ordered it from. Someplace on Etsy. It's a Picture This Plus even weave. Is it an even weave or a linen? Or Lugana or a linen? I think it's a Lugana. Yeah, it's a Lugana. And I restarted it, and I've just got that much done. Cute little snail border. So I decided to start in the corner rather than start in the center this time. But it's going to be super cute. I love this. And this hasn't been active on my needle. And I'm going to get back to working on this one pretty steadily. Like I said, I'm going to take it to the retreat with me. And the floss that they give you is really nice. I believe they hand dye their own floss. I don't know what brand it is, but I think it's just their brand. But it's all over dyed floss in variegated colors. It's really pretty, really nice floss. And you get this like cool needle minder with it. Very cute. I have my needles on it. So yeah, I think I'll take this one with me and work on this. I have such a hard time deciding which projects to take when I go on retreats. It's tough. I usually drive when I go to retreats, so I usually just take all the things, fill up my car and take all the things. But I can't this time. All right, so future plans for cross stitch. I know I shouldn't have any future plans because I've got enough started, but I'm going to start another one. I have this all kitted up, and I'm going to be starting Barn Dance. It's a Carolyn Manning's design. Love it. Love, love, love it, love it, love it. This one just calls for DMC. I've got it all kitted up, ready to go. All my floss is on I've bobbinated it all and put it on rings. Put my bobbins on rings, and I'm ready to go. All the colors. Look at all of those awesome colors. I just want to show you the cool colors. Look at all those colors. Beautiful, right? It is going to be so fun. This one is going to be just really, really a fun time. Love all the colors. Oh, and that's not even it. I got one more in here. Oh, these are just my whites and golds. And one red. But yes, so I'm all ready to go. I'm all kitted up to start this one. This one I'm going to do, and this is going to be, I might take this one with me too, because this would be a nice relaxing one to do while you're visiting with people, because the stitch pattern is, you're doing blocks of color, so you're not going to have to do tons and tons of color changes and counting. So I might take this one with me too. This one is just on 14 count Aida. And it said white, but it's a full coverage piece. So you don't really have to do it on white. So I already cut my fabric, and it's on like an off-white, like a cream 14 count Aida. Nothing fancy there. And I like that about her patterns is they are usually just call for Aida, which is nice. And it's nice to work on something where you're not going over 2 stitches, at least for me, because I'm a simple stitcher. I like things easy. And so those big projects that I showed you, those are really outside my comfort zone. I mean, they really are pushing my skill level, those 36 count projects, those 2 projects I showed you. So I'm much more comfortable with something like this where I can work on 14 count Aida and DMC floss. That's really more, I'm a plain kind of girl. I'm not fancy. And this is really more my style. I have quite a few more. I think I've got them here. I'm going to show you in my, so that's my one future plan. So moving on to haul. Stuff that I haven't showed you yet from Cross Stitch. New things that I've gotten. So I got this. I got a couple Christmas things from 123 Stitch. I just had to have them. So this is a Little House Needleworks pattern. It's called Jingle All the Way. Isn't that just the best? Love it. Love, love, love it. It is 183 by 109 stitches. So it's going to be 12 inches by 7 1/4 inches, which is not going to be bad. It calls for a 30 count linen. I don't know if I will use 30 count. I might use 32. But so it might be a little bit small. You know, mine will be a little bit smaller than that, but not by much. Calls for classic Colorworks threads, which I'll probably use. Although they do give you, they do list the DMC alternative, so maybe I'll just go ahead and use DMC. Honestly, I don't see the difference that much between DMC and classic Colorworks. That's just, I guess I'm not so far. I don't have all that much experience, but so far I don't. So this is a Cottage Garden sampler, or yes, Cottage Garden samplings. This one's called Christmas Delivery. I love this one. This one is going to be for my dad next year for Christmas. My dad is Santa. You guys know that, or if you don't know that. This one calls for DMC, and is a suggested fabric is Alchemy Linen by Picture This Plus, and they're giving you multiple fabric count sizes that you can use. So I'll probably do this in a 28 count just to make it life easy on myself, because why not? Very cute, very, very cute. Love it. And then this, I got this. This is the first time I've ever gotten a Luca S kit. This is a entire cross stitch kit, and this is a full coverage, but isn't that gorgeous? My dad is a train buff, and I am going to be doing this one for him for next Christmas. I should say my other dad. I have my stepdad and my biological dad. This one is going to be for my biological dad. The other one is going to be for my stepdad. But I don't consider them that way. They're just both my dads. So, but it might be, I understand that it could be confusing for me to say my dad and my dad. So this one comes with all of your floss is pre-carded. Lots of floss. Look at all of those floss colors. I don't even know how many there are in total. Ooh, but look at that one special floss you get. Very pretty, a glittery floss. It's not like a chronic. It's, I don't know what it is. I don't know what you would call it, but it's very cool. That's going to look really pretty. And then you get your fabric, which is, you know, in the size that you need. This is going to be quite a big piece. You can see how big that is. And your pattern is also in the bag, which I can't show you the pattern, of course, but you've got your pattern in there. And I just want to, I kind of see something. I just want to pull it out. I haven't looked at this yet. I just want to take a quick gander at this. Wow, the pattern that they give you is huge. I mean, it's the way it's printed, the printing is really big. So this is the size of your piece of paper. It's like huge. So that's the size of each page of your pattern. I love that because I have horrible eyes. This is going to be so nice. This will be really, really nice for being able to see. It might be a little bit cumbersome as far as holding it on your lap, that your picture is that, or that your pattern is that big on that big of a piece of paper. But it is sure going to be easy on the eyes as far as being able to see it. I'll put all that stuff back in the package after we're done here. I won't make you wait. All right, non-Christmassy stuff. These are my newest acquisitions. This, oh, I'm so excited about this. I screwed up and ordered a fat quarter of 28 count Cypress Lugana. It's beautiful fabric. I love Lugana. I like to stitch on Lugana much more than I like to stitch on linen. I got this from Floss and Fabrics on Etsy. I don't know why I ordered this color. No clue. I cannot find a project that I have or even have in my cart anywhere that would call for this color. It's a beautiful color. It's a beautiful green color. And I got a whole fat quarter. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. This I want to be my next project, but I can't get a hold of the I can't reasonably priced get a hold of the floss right now for it. So this is called this is an Ink Circles design, and it's called Castle Walls. And I am in love with this. This one is going to be, yes, love, love, love it. I want to do this one so badly. I really, really want to stitch this one. So their model was stitched on 36 count feldspar. Did I just use my... I just used my feldspar for that. Oh, man. That's what my linen was supposed to be for, was for this. And I started the Raven on it. Because I couldn't figure out... I got that 36 count feldspar linen in, and I thought, what did I order this for? And then I thought to myself that I had ordered it to replace the fabric for the Raven. But now I'm realizing that I really had ordered it for this. So I'm going to have to get some more 36 count feldspar. I wonder if I could, you know what I could probably do? If you guys have any color suggestions, I could probably, well, I don't know if it would work. Do you have any color replacement suggestions using Gloriana? I want to use Gloriana. Other than slate blue and charcoal. Possibly that would go well with this slight cypress fabric. That would be cool if I could use this and just do this in different colors. What do you think? What do you think? I don't know. I don't know if I trust myself to order something to try to figure out colors on my own, but I really want to do that one. Then I did get also a couple more Carolyn Manning designs. I don't know when I'll do these, but I wanted them. I got this one. It's called Bohemian Bliss. Another one. I love the colors in that one. I think they're so pretty. And this one I really like. It's a little bit different. This one's called Dollhouse Window. And I just love the pattern. Love that. Can't wait till I can stitch those. I think I have a couple more Carolyn Mannings in here too. At least, yes. Now this one I hopefully will stitch next Christmas. This one is, oh, that's my order. Poinsettia, another Carolyn Manning. So I got 3 new Carolyn Manning designs. She came out with some new ones, I think in November, or 1 through 3 Stitch started carrying them up in, I think, November or December, and so that's why I grabbed those. Another one that I got is from Whispered by the Wind, and it is called Witch's Gate. Isn't that just so cool? And I did pick up the floss for this one. I don't have the fabric. It just calls for DMC, so I went ahead and got all the DMC for that as well. And I think, you know what? I think I screwed up because this calls for 28 count Lugana in the color Mirage, and I got this in the color Cypress, and I think I got the wrong color. I bet you I could use, why not? That might look kind of cool. There we go. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this for this. Yep. Okay, that one's kitted up, ready to go. Not kitted up, but it's, you know, it's got all the stuff to go with it. Very cool. All right, that is all my purchases for cross stitch recently. Thank you guys for everybody who made it to the end with me. I appreciate you hanging in there. You're troopers, because this was a long one. Going forward, I don't anticipate that these Tuesday yarn talks and cross stitch chats will be quite this long. But like I said, this was the first one, so I had a lot of stuff to catch up with you on and to show you. Going forward, it'll just be updates and new stuff, which there's always new stuff, you know there is. But thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is going to free up some time on Thursdays so that I won't have to do so much chatter other than diamond painting. I can just get right to my whipping chats on Thursday and get talking diamond painting. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys all in my next video. All right, have a great day. Bye, guys.